Today we're going to be ranking every park in Tony Hawk's Underground 2 on the PlayStation 2 from worst to best. So a few months back, we actually did this exact thing with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 on PS2. We ranked every park worst to best. So moving from my favorite Tony Hawk game, Pro Skater 3, to my second favorite Tony Hawk game ever, Underground 2, there are some bangers up in here. So let's get to the list. Coming in at number 15, the worst park in Tony Hawk's Underground 2, and the only bad park that's in this game. The only truly terrible park that is in this game, Pro Skater. I don't know what they were thinking with this. It's one word if I could describe it, it's atrocious, man. Absolutely atrocious. I mean, the park has zero flow to it. It's way too dark. I can't see nothing. And the park is ugly. The color, there's like no color to it. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking, man. This map is trash, dude. And there's aliens in it. Like, aliens are cool, but not in this map, dude. I don't know what. And they named it after Pro Skater. They named it after the most iconic skateboard game series in the world. And this is the result. Nah, man. Absolutely atrocious, dude. Number 14, we have Skatopia. Now, Skatopia is a vibe, man. I'm not gonna lie. So, I mean, a thing that I do like about this map is the elevation of it. You're like on a big hill. It goes up pretty steep. You're on a pretty big elevation. And there's a lot of ramps, a lot of rails, as you would expect from a Tony Hawk park. It's just a fun map overall. It's a vibe. It has some nice vibrant colors. The green is really, really strong in this map. You're kind of in like a wooded area. I'm not really complaining about that. I think it's kind of a cool vibe. And I do like the, the arcade machine that you can find hidden up that ladder. You sadly cannot access in free skate mode, but still, Skatopia is a pretty good map. Number 13, we have Philadelphia. Now, I'm sorry, this is a hot take, man. I'm sorry for all the Philadelphia fanboys. Not saying this is a bad map at all. This is a very good, very decent map. The flow is really good. There's a lot of cool different areas. I really love that gap onto the rooftop from that one jump, kind of by the staircase. It's a great map, man, but compared to every other map in the game, it doesn't come close, man. I'll be honest. Philadelphia, good map, but there are way better coming up here in the video. Stay tuned. Number 12, we have Downhill Jam. Now, dude, I love Downhill Jam as a map. And speaking of Downhill Jam, Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam, the actual game, that is my second favorite Tony Hawk game of all time. Believe it or not, that's a hot take. I hear a lot of people dissing on that game. Nah, man, Downhill Jam is a fire Tony Hawk game. But as a map, or I guess skate park, you could say, in this game, it is very, very fun. So if you know Downhill Jam, the game, then you kind of can understand what this park is all about. It's a downhill slope. So you go all the way down. Once you reach the end, there's kind of like a teleporter system that teleports you all the way back to the top, and then you just go down again. It's a whole like circle thing. The flow is really cool, really fun actually. There's a lot of good railings and ramps and all this kind of shit that as you go down. And you can even continue your combo through the teleporting system, which is pretty cool. So if you want to go for the big boy combos, man, you could get like a crazy combo on this map. And it's kind of a nostalgic one too because of how much I love Downhill Jam as a game. But number 12, Downhill Jam, it's pretty fucking fun, man. I'm not gonna lie. Number 11, the Triangle. Now this one is the most unique park by far in this entire game. The Triangle. As best as I can explain it, you're on this like kind of beach in the middle of the ocean. There's UFOs everywhere. There's aliens. There's sunken pirate ships. There's actual pirates roaming around, and like there's crash landed aircrafts on the beach. There's like pieces of planes scattered around. This map is super unique. There's also like portals in the sky, lightning like in the clouds of the sky. Like it's super, super weird, but also like it's honestly such a cool setting. And besides the setting of this level, the park and the skating is actually really fun too. It's kind of like a circle type thing, and you just kind of go around, or however you skate in this game. But I like to go around and just pull off combos on all the ledges and the jumps and all of this kind of stuff. It's a fun map, man. The Triangle, super unique, super fun. The setting is really cool. Like you can't really complain. It is it's a good map, man. Number 10, we have Australia. Now this one is really cool, man. I mean, it's kind of a basic park when you think about it. There's a beach, there's a lot of like ramps and rails, of course. The setting is really cool. It's a really vibe, like kind of setting, you know, it's just really chill, like a sunny day outside, you know. I remember back in the day, I used to go to this one skate park by my house, back when I used to live at a different place. And, you know, just the vibe of like skating at a skate park on a sunny day. If you were a skater kid like me, man, it's just something you kind of remember. So it's kind of a nostalgic level for me, Australia. It's just a vibe, man. And the beach ball physics, you can't really complain about the beach ball physics. You can kind of move the beach balls around and whatnot. You can't really skate on the sand, which makes sense, obviously. It kind of throws you off your board when you try to go into the sand. But, you know, it's a good map overall, Australia. I don't really go back to it that much every time I pop this game in, but it is a fun map, man. We can't lie. Moving on to number 9, we have Barcelona. A lot of people, I feel like a lot of people really love this map. It might be like up in their top picks, but for me, it's number 9. It's definitely not a bad park. And honestly, all of the original parks in this game are like phenomenal, except for Pro Skater, I must say. But all of the original parks in Underground 2 are like super good, man. And Barcelona is really good. It has this area by the water where you can like kind of reconnect this bridge to get to a new area across the water. There's only so much I can really say about a lot of these parks because they all are kind of the same. Thinking about like skating wise, they all have ledges, they all have ramps and everything. The flow is really good in this map. The setting is really cool. I like how you can go on the rooftops, go across the water. I mean, it's a good map overall. Barcelona, number 9. Can't really complain. And lastly, shout out the random gingerbread man face that's in the upstairs window of this one building. I don't know why that's there, but it's kind of cool. So number 8, we have Los Angeles. Now, I don't really need to say nothing about Los Angeles. This is a classic in the Tony Hawk world, and even like just the skateboard video game world. This is a classic of a park. And I mean, they brought this back from Pro Skater 3, and in Underground 2, they have a few parks from Pro Skater and Pro Skater 3 in here. And Los Angeles is just really, it's just this iconic map, man. I don't need to really talk about it since we talked a lot about Los Angeles, especially in my ranking Pro Skater 3 video, which go watch that, by the way, if you haven't. I'd appreciate that a lot. But Los Angeles is really good, man. I'm not gonna lie. Number 7, New Orleans. Now this game has so many iconic maps, and speaking of Underground 2, bro, this game is like so much better than Underground 1 when it comes to maps. A lot of people are gonna like kind of diss on me for that, but I love this game. I think Tony Hawk's Underground 1 is one of the worst Tony Hawk games ever. That's my opinion, man. I know it's a hot take, but that's just how I kind of feel. It just didn't connect with me. Overall, New Orleans is a great park, besides the fact that I do think it's a little too dark. It's a little bit hard to see, I'm not gonna lie, but still a good park. Moving on to number 6, we have Training, aka Warehouse from Pro Skater 1, and Warehouse was also in Pro Skater 3, so they brought that back. So I don't know why they call it Training, maybe because it's the training mission from the story career mode in this game, but it's exactly like Warehouse, except they added a whole nother room to the left side of the map that just adds a whole nother section to it. It like basically doubles the map size. That's how much they added. And that whole addition to the other room levels up the Warehouse park. It's just actually like a really good addition. I'm really a fan of it. I mean, Training is a super good map. It's not necessarily like has the same vibe as the classic Warehouse, but the addition of it really kind of, at least for me at least, it does level it up a little bit for, you know, some extra replay value. And still an amazing map in Pro Skater 1 and 3, but in Underground 2, man, it's even better. Moving on to number 5, we have Berlin. Now, dude, when I used to play Underground 2, this was one of my early teen years games that I played a lot. Berlin was like my main map that I played all of the time, and it's just a classic, you know, railings, ramps, ledges, they have everything in this map. And I mean, coming from like so many different areas as well, like the church, they have that one little vent area where like you can launch off the roof and go like flying. I really do like that. They have that little skate park area that has those quarter pipes or like bowls or whatever you want to call it. They have that in the building with some cool like little colorful like pipe looking things that you can grind on. Super cool. And there's like a bar that you can ride past and you see like 4 drunk dudes walking around. And there's just a lot of funny things in this map as well. Berlin, man, number 5. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4, we have Airport, a classic from Pro Skater 3 that they brought back into Underground 2. And this is another one, man, where I don't need to explain to you guys. I mean, for those of you who have clicked on this video, I mean, y'all have got to know what the airport park is, you know, from Pro Skater 3. So, I mean, I don't need to explain. It's a banger of a map, an iconic Tony Hawk Park. And I guess one thing that I did notice, comparing the Underground 2 version to Pro Skater 3, the Underground 2 version seems a little less colorful than the Pro Skater 3 one was. Still an iconic map though, no doubt about that. Number 3, we have School from Pro Skater 1. Another one that they brought back from an old game. They did that a few times for this game here. And I tried to kind of balance my list to where all of the remasters and like the ones they brought back were not at the top. But it's kind of hard not to do that considering how like fucking iconic a lot of those, you know, parks are that they brought back. And it's just, the flow is really good. You can do a lot of amazing combos, and it's just such a fun time at the school, man. And that's probably the only time you're gonna hear me talk about school and fun in the same exact sentence. Unless we're talking about video production class in 9th and 10th grade. Coming in at number 2, we have a classic from Pro Skater 3, once again, Canada. Another nostalgia level for me that I used to play all the time in Pro Skater 3. I mean, Canada compared to almost every map before this one in the list, you can't beat it. And I really don't want to put the maps that came back from old games towards the top of the list, but it's just so hard not to because of how iconic they are. Canada, no explanation needed. Y'all know what Canada is. It is a god tier, iconic map in the Tony Hawk series. And that's my number 2 spot. But number 1 is an original from Tony Hawk's Underground 2. And I've got to say, number 1, it blows every other, you know, park in this list out of the water. It's that fucking good. Now, let's say they had Suburbia come back into Underground 2. Then that would be number 1, of course. Absolutely the best Tony Hawk map of all time. But number 1, we have Boston. There's so much to say, man. So much to say about this map. In my opinion, in my eyes, Boston from Tony Hawk's Underground 2 is an iconic map in the Tony Hawk series. This park literally has it all. It has a construction zone, a hospital, you can go into an underground subway, there's a library you can go into, and cruising in the streets, so much fun. They have a few secret areas as well. I mean, the flow is amazing. It's just a god tier map, man. Boston from Underground 2, god tier map. And there's these couple secrets that you can like find this dude in an apartment building dancing in front of a goat. I don't know what the hell he's doing or how he got a goat up there in the first place, but it's kind of a funny secret. And then there's also like this Jedi kid that you can find, and he can do like a dance for you or something like that. I don't know. It's weird, but the Tony Hawk series has always been weird. Especially moving on from the Pro Skater games, like starting from Pro Skater 4 and moving upwards, they started to dive into a lot of more weird kind of ideas and stuff, but it is really fun. And it just makes the game kind of more enjoyable, in my opinion, to have kind of dumb secrets like that. But anyways, man, Boston from Underground 2 is the definition of a Tony Hawk video game skate park. Well, everyone, that is gonna be my list of every park in Tony Hawk's Underground 2 ranked from worst to best. Let me know in the comments below what your list is and what you thought about my list. Do I have hot takes? I know I have hot takes. I always got hot takes, man. Baby Brady, you wanna pop in here real quick? What up, my boy? All right, get the fuck out of here now. You know, sometimes I let him speak, sometimes I don't. Last night he ended up, you know, taking a shit on the fucking carpet, so still a little pissed about it, but you know, babies will be babies, you know. And if you guys enjoy retro gaming content, man, we post every week retro gaming related content on the BR80 show. Go ahead and click the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, like the video, comment down below, like I said. And I would love to give a wonderful shout out to all these amazing members, channel members that we have on screen. We currently have 2 members. We have Baby Brady, aka my boy God Poseidon, and my buddy Tate Harris as channel members on the BR80 crew. So if you're interested in looking at the memberships, we always have it linked in the description of every video. But I appreciate these guys who decided to, you know, spend that little extra money and help contribute to the channel. I really appreciate you guys. But yeah, man, that's gonna conclude the video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be seeing you on Sunday for the next episode of the BR80 show. It's gonna be a good one, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be seeing you then.